Okay, so we're going to look at the adapter flange part, which is for task 2 of assignment 1. So I'm just going to take us up to the point where we've done the 3D machining to get the fillet rod. So first thing we need to do is import our model. So SolidWorks file, wherever you saved it. Okay, so you can see that my datum is in the wrong place, so I need to move it. So I'm going to go to the Edit tab, Move, select All, Finish, and I'm going to snap to the center of the top circle here. Okay, and my new point going to be 0, 0, 0, X, Y, Z. Okay, so you can now see that I have moved the datum. It's in the center on the top and says pointing up. So the next thing then I want to do is cap the hole. So I'm going to go to Solid Model Utilities. Now for this case, because there's a pocket, you need to select all of the faces. So you need to select all right up to the top and then finish. Otherwise it won't cap. Okay. So the next thing then I'm going to do is extract some of the geometry. So I'm going to go to Solid Model Extract. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk this in the online class, like is projected face outlines to work plane. So just click OK. So I'm going to project these up, physically go around where the rod is, select all and finish. So you can see now that's projected up to the top, but I have each wee segment. So if I want to join them all into one, I can search for Unite command. Okay, and along the bottom, select overlapping geometries. So if I just go around and select each one of those until they turn blue and finish. So you can now see that there are 2 full lines. Okay, so the next thing then I'm going to do is contour from picked edge. And I'm going to select the top of that. So you can see a green line around the outside. And then again, I'm going to pick the bottom here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to create my block. So 3D tab, select materials. Now this might be slightly different in yours, and on campus this didn't work for us. So you may have to draw a green rectangle around it and do it that way. Or if it comes up along the bottom, pick geometry or solid, and it allows you to pick all, you can do it that way. So I'm going to make the top 2 and the bottom -50 because my block's 50 deep. Okay, finish. Okay, so I'm going to face mill. So I'm going to go to the machine tab. So you can see, just as we would normally do, shell mill. Okay. And I'm going to pick a manual toolpath. So it's going to be dropped down to 50. I'm going to go down to 4. My material top will be 2 and the final will be 0. Start out here somewhere. And I'm just going to make the 2 of them overlap. Okay, so I now have my first toolpath. Okay, so the next thing then I'm going to do is select the 16mm flat end mill. Okay, then I'm going to go to 3D machining. So the strategy in this case is Z contour roughing. Okay, so it needs to be climb and contour. Levels and cuts, safe rapid, I'm going to go to 20. I'm going to say feed down distance is 2. Max depth for cut, I'm going to say is 5. I'm going to untick auto and I'm going to put in 0 and -26 here. Okay, I'm going to go by level. Okay, select all, finish. Okay, so just have a look at that just to make sure it's okay. So it should start on one corner and do all 4 corners first. If it goes to the center, you know that it's going to try and pocket the middle bit out, which is what you don't want. So when you're selecting all, make sure everything's blue. If the capped hole at the top is still grey, it will try to pocket that out. Okay, so sorry, one thing I didn't check was my XY stock. So if I go to machine data, I'm going to leave 2 in XY and 0 in Z. If I click OK and just run that again. Okay, so you can see I'm left with some material here. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do then is try and machine finishing machining path around here and around here. So I'll do the bottom first. I'm going to still stick with the 16mm tool. I have to select my tool direction, so I'm going to go clockwise and outside and pick the bottom here. Close. Then rough or finish. Okay, so levels. It's going to be drop it down to 2. My material top is 0. My final depth, I'll say -26. Okay. Now we should be changing this, so remember to do that whenever you're updating. I'm just doing this quickly, but you should look at the tool sheet, the tool list, and add speeds and feeds as to what it states on the list. Okay, so click OK and then select that. Now I need to just change this to operation 3. Okay, so see what that looks like. Okay, so you can see it's went round there and removed all the extra bit of material that was left from the Z contour roughing. Okay, so then I'm going to select a smaller tool. So we do have a 6mm end mill. I think it's tool pocket 11. So I'm going to select it. Then I'm going to go to tool direction, clockwise and outside of this. Close, rough or finish. We're going to say -15. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do then is the constant cusp, which is to machine the fillet rod here. So I'm going to select tool. This time it's going to be a ball. We're going to go with 16 because that's what we have available to us. Tool direction, I'm going to select outside and clockwise. I'm going to pick this outer line here, the outer boundary. Okay. Then I'm going to go to 3D machining, and the strategy is the second one down, constant cusp. So this time around, we haven't done this before. We need to select a boundary. So from drawing, click OK. And then we want to select these 2 lines or faces basically that we projected up before we did any of our machining. So finish. Then XY stock, we're going to leave 0, Z, 0. So cusp height instead of width of cut, and it's going to be 0.02. We're going to go between -15 and -20. Okay. Click OK and select it and finish. So I just selected the whole thing. Now let's see what this looks like, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so slow it down a little bit. Okay, so you can see now we have our fillet rod applied here. Okay, so once you have all of that done, the next things you're going to need to do is extract the rest of the holes. Okay, so all of this where we've capped has to be extracted. These 4 holes that are tapped, they need to be extracted, and these 2 here as well. Okay, so you need to do all of that and then you're going to be able to apply, so spot drill, then you'll go in, drill, pack drill the full size, and then these 4 have to be tapped. Okay, then you have your pocketing, and at the very end then you can do the chamfer on the little area within the pocket. So if I go to this, okay, so you have your chamfer in here. Okay, so I would advise probably to do these holes first and then get those tapped, and then go and start doing the pocket and do the chamfer at the very end. So remember to look at the videos. There's 2 ways of chamfering. You can do it by offsetting the line. So it's a 1 millimeter chamfer at 45 degrees. So you can offset the line in by 1 millimeter, or you can lock the tool paths above. The only thing is you need to be sure that everything to that point is right, because once you do that, it's very hard to undo. Okay. Also remember to save, and save often. Save multiple versions, because this can crash, especially when you're doing this 3D machining stuff. At least if you've saved up to a certain point. So if that's Rev 1, Rev 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, you can always go back and you still have it there to work with. Okay. So that's all I'm going to cover in the video. I'll leave the rest up to yourselves. You can work on this in class on Monday. I'll pop in and out with you to make sure that you're getting on okay. Remember as well, when you get to the end of your program, this is covered in a video about whenever you want to generate the code. So this wee lightning edit button, so with the wee pencil and the lightning bolt, if you click on that, you need to change your tool number and offset number to match the tool pocket in the machine. So this one here was the shell mill and it's tool pocket 2, so you need to change that to 2. The 16 mil end mill, so it is tool pocket 12, so that needs to go to 12. So you just change in here. You can also change speeds and feeds in here if you hadn't already done that. Okay, so that's going to be tool pocket 12. So just before you generate any code, you need to make sure and do that. That's going to be the same, tool pocket 12. This one, the 6 millimeter end mill, is tool pocket 11. And then the ball end mill is 16 mil 1, is tool pocket 9. Okay. And then spindle speed and feed can be changed in here. So face mill, the spindle speed was 2000, and the feed rate was 120. Or sorry, 300. Looking at the one above. Okay, so you can do that in there, and then you just close that. That's before you generate the code. Okay, so a few things to do before you get to the point of extracting the holes and doing the normal 2D machining, which we would have done. This 3rd and 4th op are normal 2D machining. You just have to extract your geometries to be able to do that, and remember to pick your tool direction as well, otherwise it'll machine into the block. Okay,